made 1910, but if Bulgaria has to be amended, so must Yugoslavia.
There are two countries in which the British have a particular interest. One is Greece. I'm not much worried about Romania. That is very much a Russian affair. But in Greece it is different. Britain must be the leading Mediterranean power. I hope you'll allow me to have the first say about Greece, the same as you have in Romania.
Indeed, Britain suffered greatly from having her communications in the Mediterranean cut by the Germans. It was a serious matter for Britain when the Mediterranean route was not in her hands. From that point of view, Greece is very important. I agree to Britain having the first say in Greece.
Keep your sons at home, mothers of Athens, if you want to keep them alive, Bertolt Brecht wrote at the time. The old man of Downing Street is bringing back your king. Anthony Eden made a stopover in Athens.
The British paratroopers met no opposition, coordinating their landing with British and Greek troops landed by the Royal Navy at Piraeus, port of Athens. Natives and guerrillas were waiting to greet the troops as they came down. Contact was also established with British troops which had landed earlier on the Peloponnesus and had advanced east from Corinth.
Down comes the swastika. The soldier's father had been hanged by the Germans, but the martyrdom of the Greek people was far from over. Churchill wrote to Eden,
I expect a confrontation with Eam, and we should not try to sidestep it. We pay dearly in Moscow to have a free hand in Greece.
If you've seen these pictures before, you'll certainly remember them. For the Greeks gave their allies one of the greatest ovations ever witnessed in this war. Neither Britain nor her allies demanded anything from Greece but her friendship and her agreement to maintain law and order so that free elections could be held. Britain hadn't come to occupy Greece, but to help that stricken country to its feet.
The king waited in London for the Anglo-Greek forces to take possession of the capital. Churchill opposed equal representation for Hellas troops in any new Greek army. Eam left the provisional government. The British commander, General Scobie, ordered the Greek resistance disarmed. Churchill wrote to him,
Do not hesitate to fire at any armed male in Athens who assails the British or the Greek authority. Do not hesitate to act as if you were in a conquered city where a local rebellion is in progress.
Μετά από το Ρήμινι μας διέταξαν και ήρθαμε στην Ελλάδα και αντιμετωπίσαμε την κατάσταση η οποία υπήρχε στις Αθήνες. Ο λαός μας υπεδέχθη ως ήρωας. Αλλά άλλοι μας ήβριζαν ως προδότες, ως φασίστας. Είχαμε μια κατάσταση δηλαδή η οποία ήταν αφόρητος.
Εμείς ξεκινήσαμε για την Αθήνα μετά το τελεσίγραφο αυτό που σας είπα του Σκόμπη ότι θέλει να διαλύσει τις δυνάμεις, επίκειται σύγκρουση.
A general strike began. For a month there were no newspapers. There was no radio, no electricity, no food. Only the counting of bodies.
Kept the window of the temporary studio open while I have been speaking my dispatches so that you could hear the noises of the battle.
Hello BBC, this is Douglas Story speaking to you from Athens. I have the recording truck at Constitutional Square, which is in the centre of the city, and there is a violent street battle going on at the present moment. I will leave the microphone open for you to hear the effect. The time now is exactly 4 o'clock on the 7th of December.
On December the 8th, Churchill cabled Scobie.
The clear objective is the defeat of Eam.
Εγώ ήμουνα διοικητής τμήματος του Ελλάς στην Αθήνα. Συγκεκριμένα ήμουνα στη συνοικία της Κεσσαλιανής, που όλες οι ανατολικές συνοικίες είχαν οπλιστεί και αντιμετώπιζαν την επίθεση των Εγγλέζων. Σε λίγο άρχισαν οι επιχειρήσεις, οι Εγγλέζοι επιτέθηκαν, με το στρατό βέβαια που είχαν στη διάθεσή τους τον κυβερνητικό, που ήταν η ορεινή ταξιαρχία που είχε έρθει από την Αίγυπτο.
Το τάγμα μου τότε πέστη αρκετές απώλειες μέσα στην Κεσαριανή και εις αξιωματικούς και εις στρατιώτες, και ήταν η μεγαλύτερα λύπη την οποία γνώρισα στη ζωή μου, διότι οι στρατιώτες οι οποίοι περάσαν Νίγδη και Ελαλαμέη και κινήματα και τα λοιπά, αυτό να σκοτώνονται μέσα στις Αθήνες. Τα Δεκεμβριανά εγώ τα θεωρώ μία λέλαπα, μία, δεν ξέρω τι να πω, μια κατάρα του Θεού.
Christmas Day in Athens, with no hope apparently of settlement. Field Marshal Alexander, General Scobie, and Russian representatives foregathered to await Winston Churchill, who was arriving with Eden. Every effort at a settlement failed, and the problem grew with every failure. Mr. Eden and Field Marshal Alexander, from the roof of the embassy, watched RAF fighter planes firing cannon and rockets at buildings held by the still fighting forces of Elam. Airborne troops occupying a rooftop position fired their machine gun into a street of Athens to prevent the movement of Elam's forces.
For the first time in its history, Athens was bombed. The Eam forces evacuated the city. Churchill wrote to Roosevelt.
Stalin adhered strictly and faithfully to our agreements, with not one word of reproach from Pravda.
That concludes our material for today. For this period, we hope to be with you at 1600 GMT, if we can get here. Wishing you a good afternoon.
The Varkiza Agreement was signed on the same day as the Yalta Agreement. Eam laid down its weapons. The agreement allowed for the prosecution of Eam fighters for so-called acts of revenge during the occupation. In effect, the resistance was banned for the next 40 years. Churchill visited Athens to savor his victory on the very day that the partisans disarmed.
Το λάθος το δικό μας είναι ότι και στο Λίβανο και στη Βάρκιζα παραδώσαμε την εξουσία αυτή την οποία είχε δημιουργήσει το ΕΑΜ στις απελευθερούμενες περιοχές χωρίς κανένα αντίκρισμα και χωρίς καμιά εγγύηση. Αυτό είναι ένα γενικότερο πρόβλημα που απασχολεί και σήμερα το κόμμα και η ιστορία θα απαντήσει. Ένα λάθος κατά τη γνώμη μου. Δηλαδή υπήρχε η ψευδαίσθηση και σε εμάς ότι μετά την απελευθέρωση από τους Γερμανοϊταλούς θα μας αφήνουν στον ελεύθερος να κάνουμε την δική μας επιλογή.
Μετά τη συμφωνία ορίστηκε να παραδώσουμε τα όπλα. Εγώ με τα τμήματά μου που ήμουν έξω είχα διαταγεί και παρέδωσα με τα όπλα στο πλατίστομο κοντά στη Λαμία.
Όποιος δεν έζησε εκείνη την εποχή να βλέπετε τους αντάρτες το κλάμα που κάνανε όταν παραδίναν τα όπλα.